What's up guys, it's Missy. I am back with another SimCity Buildit video. This week I am playing the Contest of Mayors competitively to show the high level players how you should be picking your tasks. Before we get started, there's a couple of things that I want to announce for low and high level players, so pay very close attention. First, if you are a low level player and you start off your week with a upgrade in your streaks task, be very careful, okay? So what people are doing, and I did talk about this in one of my previous videos, but only one of the videos did I discuss this. So if you haven't seen that video, then you wouldn't have heard this. When you are a low level player, you want to start streaks at, well actually at any level player, you want to start streaks at about 20 tasks remaining. As a low level player, you have, no way of doing upgrades because you're camping, right? So that you can upgrade your storage and all that. Now, when you camp, this means you're not doing any house upgrades whatsoever. That being said, if you can't finish one of the tasks in your streak, then that means that you failed the streak. So when you open up the Contest of Mayors and your starting list has an upgrade in it, you're faced with one of two options. Basically, you can either cancel it right now, or you can wait to, and let all of your chances, all of your rotatable tasks, rotate them in and try to get that upgrade to pop up in your main list and get it out of the streaks as soon as possible. This is not the right choice, okay? There's two reasons why this is a bad choice. First off, you don't want to start streaks that early because of the timer, right? When you start your first streak, you begin that 24-hour timer. So you failed the first streak, okay? 5 minutes goes by, you get streak 2. Now you have 24 hours to complete streak 2 because you started streak 1. Now, you got to be really careful because you don't want to start your streaks until about 20 tasks, right? So if you can't finish all 40 tasks in that amount of time, you're going to fail streak 2. So you don't want to do that just yet. Another reason why you don't want to cancel it just yet is because just because you cancel an upgrade in your streaks, it could come right back in the following streak. You got to remember, looking at your list, let's say you have 2 upgrades in your list. One is in the streaks, one is in the main. You have a much higher chance of the upgrades coming back in the second streak because you didn't wait for all the others to stack up. So you got to look at things from 2 perspectives here. You can't just look at the way it's going to benefit you. You have to look at how could this come back to bite me in the ass, right? And that's how. So when you do the streaks, the idea is that you want to lessen the possibility of getting an upgrade in the streaks. If you're looking at your main list, your starting list, and it has a streak upgrade in the streak, you've canceled and started your streaks too early, and now you just have a much higher chance of getting an upgrade popping up in the streak on streak 2 because you don't have enough upgrades built up in your list. So in your attempt to try to give more time for that one to come back in the main list, you just screwed up your chances by doing that, okay? So don't do that. Now, as a high-level player, it's a little different, right? Because you guys, you can do your upgrades. So what you guys would do is you would just play normally. You're going to play the way you always would, and then wait until you get to your streaks, and then rotate in, all of your streaks. So get down to about 20 tasks, and then you know that you can do any task that comes across your way, right? But you got to be very careful if you're playing competitively, and you don't leave enough regionals open, okay? Shipments, you are going to be in a world of hurt. Because you can always get around a coin task. You can't always get around a regional HQ shipment task. In fact, there's no way around that. So let's say that I was to get and earn simoleons for limestone, which I had so far. And I do all of the rows, the 3 rows, and then I do it 3 times. So I did all 9 rows. I paid the cash. I got it all done. Now I have 3 piggy banks sitting there, okay, that I can utilize if I absolutely need to. Some people will pay for those if it means winning or losing. Now, I don't recommend paying $2.99 for a damn piggy bank, okay? But what'll happen is people will get other regional currency tasks. Like, let's say you only have 3 regional maps open, and you got regional currency tasks for all 3, so you opened up all 3 shippings at the same time. You only have 24 hours where you're allowed to do those shipments, right? So you do that, and all of your shipping docks are now closed. Now you have like a 2 to 3 day waiting period, right, before you can even do that task. Now you get a task for 7 regional HQ shipments. And you have no possible way of doing that task now because you just burnt through all of your open docks. You should have just left them closed, right? So typically what I try to have people do, if you're a high-level player or you have, regionals unlocked, what you want to do is try to avoid opening the regional currency on every single map. At least leave 1 or 2 open and use your regional items to make that currency assignment. Or go to your pass and try to get lucky there. We have a side pass that has regional coins in it. But that is why high-level players have it so hard. You have to be thinking ahead all the time. And you don't want to burn through all of your regionals, okay? Okay, so let me go ahead and pause this video. I'm going to take you through my latest choices. I will be uploading my album, my shareable album, to our Facebook page. If you're not a member of the Facebook page, go ahead and type in SimCity Buildit, MissyAnne, and you can join us on Facebook, and you'll get all of the guides and up-to-date information, and we'll go from there. So let me go ahead and pause this, and we'll get started. Okay, so what you're going to do if you are wanting to get help from me, you will take screenshots top and bottom of your list, and you will add them to a Google album. Once you have done this, you can click these 3 dots, and you can click, okay, that's not it. It's either going to be there, depending on what type of phone you have, or you can click the share button here, and you hit get link, or you can invite to album. So in this case, I can just click people I want to invite, and then hit send, and it will automatically add them, and you'll see their little icon here, their little Google picture here, or whatever they have set. And then what they can do is they can comment on your pictures, they can like the pictures. Now this is what I do when I do training. I go through people's choices and I comment on the ones they make mistakes on, or I speak to them about it, 'cause sometimes that's a little easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my choices. Now let's get started here. I'm in Mega. I'm a level 99 player, which means I'm not limited to any upgrades. So I can basically do whatever I need to get everything done. There's no no-touch tasks, in other words, basically. The only no-touch task that I would have would be like a monster task, pretty much. Everything else would be considered a rotatable option. Okay, so task assessment. I have a Latin upgrade in my list, which is worth a low value. I'm not going to start that until the streaks, so basically I can just kind of avoid even looking at that right now. Now, for my comm prep, I ended up prepping electrical, and I prepped exactly 60 of them, which was great because I ended up getting the 3,000 point task. My reason for prepping electrical is because I know that I usually do get either electrical or feed, but electrical it takes the longest, and it's the only factory task that can be worth 3,000 points. That being said, I went ahead, took a gamble, and I prepped electrical, which was excellent. That is my main task, and it is going to be my first choice. It's my highest task in my list. Before I select it and get started, I'm going to continue on and do my task assessment. Very important, okay? Now, I have a limestone. I know that I'm going to have to do this. It's for 2,600 points, and it's a good thing that I was able to stack up some regionals, okay? Not enough, but not as many as I would have liked, but definitely some. I also have a ward delivery task for 2,500, and it is, we are in war, so I'm able to get that done. That is also a main task, as it exceeds the 2,000 value. I have a upgrade design challenge. Now, this one's for 2,400. It's at its highest point, and I went and double-checked that the design challenge closes in like 2 hours, okay? So I need to make this priority based on the fact that if I leave it sit over 100 points, I'm going to be in a world of hurt, right? So I'm trying to get these tasks done as quickly as I can. Speed is everything, so that I can get that design challenge done before the design challenge closes. Keep in mind it was also 10:30 when the contest of mirrors started, 10:30 at night for me. So it definitely, I don't want to fall asleep and, you know, miss the timer or something. So this is one good reason, this is a good example why you need to look at everything and do your task assessment so that you don't dink around and be like, oh shit, you know, design challenge already closed. Prime example of why we do this. Because I could easily get distracted doing these other tasks and then get to this point and be like, oh, well, that would have been nice to know, you know? So, good example. I have an Earn Simoleons task for 1,350. This is a last resort rotatable option. Likely for a high level player, I won't touch it at all for the duration of the contest, unless I at some point become stuck and I'm in rotation where I'm doing value trumps op, so like the last 10 tasks, like tickets I mean, and that's my highest option. Then and only then would you rotate in coins as a high level player, and usually it's rare. Usually you have tasks that are worth more. Okay, so second half of my list here, I have a repair for 1,200. This is a non-premium task. It's at its lowest value. It brings no opportunity for me, therefore the only time I'm going to rotate this in is rules of rotation, so ROR. I'm going to refer to that as ROR, and in my tickets, okay? So similar to the coins. So in other words, probably won't be doing this one. All right, upgrade Hotspot. This is a non-premium task. It's only worth 1,100 points. It's a rare task to get, and it brings decent opportunity because it's such a rare task to get, and it's worth a pretty low value. It usually results in a high kickback of either a high upgrade or a high premium, so definitely an excellent rotatable option for when I run out of main tasks. I have a 1,000 point monster. This is a non-premium. If I decide to do this, I basically open up the possibility of it coming back with a higher value, so no point in doing it, right? And we know it will come back. Then we have a upgrade Green Valley and upgrade Omega for 1,000. Now, as a low-level player, normally this would be excellent. You would ignore any 1,000 point upgrades, which if you had Green Valley and Omega, you wouldn't be considered a low-level player, right? So, at this value, these are excellent rotatable options. They hold the 3K place values in terms that they can be worth up to 3,000 points. So as long as they're sitting there worth 1,000 points, they cannot come in at any point for 3,000 points. So I've already got 2 premiums being blocked, okay? I need to keep that in mind and make sure that I don't, like, a lot of high-level players, the big mistake they make is they leave a lot of these low-value tasks in their list. Like, they'll have like 4 or 5 upgrades in their list worth 1,000 points, or they'll get like a 1,000 delivery, 2 1,000 point upgrades, and a 1,000 VU. And they'll wonder why they're not getting any high premiums. Well, you don't really have very many options, you know? So you got to rotate these low ones in to bring in better main tasks. It's just a matter of when to do it. Right now, it's not the time to do it because I have main tasks in my list. Okay. I have a 840 on chairs. This is a production task. It's technically considered premium, but at its value, for a low-level player, it is a great rotatable option. But as a high-level player, being able to do upgrades, I likely won't ever reach down quite that low on the list. Okay? Same with the cargo shipping for 600. I can't see any reason why I would have to do either of these because of the fact that they don't bring in a 3,000 point possibility, right? If I do the cargo for 600, it brings in the possibility of it coming in for a maximum of 2,400 points. It's 400 points lower than the 1,000 point upgrades. So I would be losing 400 points and getting a task that can only be worth 2,400 points possible. I'm opening up that opportunity. So I will likely not do either of these, but I'm not going to exclude them 100%. Okay? All right, so let's get started. The first choice would be the electrical, okay, which I did, and I got a 1,000 VU. Now, being how this came in for 1,000 points, it's not being good to me, so I'm not going to rotate it right now, right? So looking at our list, I have a 2,600 on the limestone and 2,500 on the war deliveries. War deliveries is a limited task, but it just started. I had plenty of time to get that done. No reason why I should take 150 points less just to get something done right this very second, you know? I'm going to have to do the limestone anyways. A lot of people try to avoid these tasks as long as possible, and you hurt yourself, okay? So you have to buckle down and do it. So I did the limestone. And this one, I'm gonna try the best I can to remember how much I'm into this round of comm so that you guys are fully aware. Give me just a second so I can refill my shop on the spatulas. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. I am back. I did not want to have that token run out. So, alright, so let's see. Point being is, this is going to cost me a pretty penny. That's kind of where we left off with what I was talking about. Now, I'm going to do my best to remember what all I have invested. At this point, I've only done the electrical, which I had prepped, which is excellent, so I was able to get that done right away. I do the earned limestone, which ended up costing me 10, 20, and yeah, so 30 cash. And then I had to bring in those rounds of shipments. It ended up taking about 4 rares, if I remember correctly, and it ended up costing me quite a few of the regional items because I ended up having to sell regional items to the people. So I lost out on quite a few of the fans and things like that, which really sucks, you know, because, I mean, you want those for this, but you also need them for epics and repair, whatever, you know, things like that. Not repair, but you know what I mean. Okay, so moving on. Now, normally right now, what I would do is I would do the war deliveries. However, as I stated before, the design challenge is closing really soon. At this point, it was like, I believe 45 minutes to an hour from closing. It was about like 1:30 in the morning for me, if I remember right. Or no, it's about midnight, I think. And either way, I was afraid I was going to fall asleep and miss the design challenge. So what I did was I decided that it was more beneficial to ensure that I got the design challenge done on time, and I went ahead and picked design challenge over the war delivery. So I sacrificed the 100 points which truthfully, even if I would have done the war deliveries first, I probably would have ended up doing the design challenge right after. I just would have risked not being able to make the timer. So I went ahead and did the design challenge. Now, then I did the war deliveries for 2,500 because I got an epic for 2,400. So now what I would do is I would do a task versus task comparison. War deliveries is higher in value, right? And it's a timed task, as in I can only do it during an active war. So there's that benefit. So obviously war deliveries was my next choice. Now, at this point, I get spatulas for 2,040, and now I'm looking at my top 3 tasks in my list for value are Epic Project for 2,400, spatulas for 2,000, and Neo-Simoleons for 1,900. Now, a lot of people ask, when is it the right time to grab your premiums, your low-valued premiums, and rotate them in? The best time to do that is when you don't have main tasks, when you're not getting good tasks. So if you have a situation where you're still getting a lot of 2,500 to 3,000 point tasks, there's no sense in rotating in a low valued task, right? If you're still getting high valued ones. So just keep that in mind. Now at this point, I was into the deliveries quite a bit. They took quite a few items. Then I started the Epic Project. That cost me 80,000 to start, and I had to donate several $100,000 in items, and I stopped at 60 points exactly because even though I'm a high level player and I can start several epics back to back if I need to, it'll eat my funds in a second. So I'm still going to try to get the most out of an epic project as I can. And as a high level player, you don't have the same issue a low level player has. A low level player has a 12-hour cooldown on their epic, whereas me, I do have a 12-hour cooldown, but it's per map. So if I do one on my capital, I have a 12-hour cooldown on my capital, but I can go do one immediately on my regional. So I don't have a cooldown really, if you look at it like that. So in terms of funds and resources, items, I decide to stop and wait and see if I get any more epic projects. I highly recommend you do the same. Okay, at this point I get a 2,400 launch legendary attack, which is obvious, why I would choose this. It is a limited time task in terms that you can only do it, during war or against a monster, and it's my highest in my list. Now I get a 1,600 Paris delivery. This is a non-premium rotatable option. It can only be worth up to 2,400 points and is not the highest in the list. Now, in this particular situation, because of the regionals and the shipments, they asked me for like 9 drills, which I didn't have any drills prepped, which sucked. I had completely forgot to prep drills. That was my biggest mistake. I didn't have any in my inventory, and we have very few high-level players in our group. So I have very little option in terms of being able to seek help when I need something. What I had to do for that regional shipment was start drills on a gold token, right? And I still had like 6 drills being made at this point. The token had run out, and they were just sitting there idle. So I would have had to stay up an hour to push through all those drills on a gold token and start the spatulas. So what I did was I said, okay, rather than waste that much downtime, I'm just going to take the 90 points less, start the token on the drills to get them cleared out, and do the Neo-Simoleons task to see if I could get some more stuff done before I fell asleep. Okay, so that is why I chose that one. Now, ideally, had I not filled my stuff up with drills, which I know better than to do that, but yeah, I did it, and yeah, so I would be able to just do the spatulas right off the get-go. But nevertheless, I was able to still pretty much hold my 2K average, and do the neo-simoleons, which I had in my pass. I had some that I could collect, so that was done almost immediately. Okay, now I get a delivery to Tokyo. Now this is where my life went terrible. Okay, this is where I was ready to take my 9mm gun and put my phone outside and shoot it. So, let me explain SimCity frustrations if you don't already know. I did not have a Tokyo flight in, but I could see what it wanted. And what, you know, obviously it doesn't tell me how many, but I could see what it wanted. And it wanted sunny drinks, which take like 3+ hours to make, which I didn't have any of, which I thought I did, but I didn't. So I knew right off the bat that I was screwed, okay? Now, I did put it out in the chat, and I was able to finally get, after about 20 minutes, I was able to get those 3 sunny drinks. And I was like, oh, thank you, you know? And I actually ended up needing drills on that shipment as well. So I pay the 20 cash, I bring in the flight, obviously, I get my 3 sunny drinks, and I'm like, okay, whew, I made it through that one. Wouldn't you know it, it wanted sunny drinks again. Yeah, that was a nightmare. So this time it wanted 4, and I didn't have any. Now, I'm not going to sit there and wait 2 damn hours on a token for some stupid sunny drinks, you know? It's just, it's not worth it. So what I did was, rather than waste a shit ton of time, I decided that I was just going to say screw it and pay the cash to bring in a different flight. So now I'm 40 bucks into this damn assignment. I get one that I was actually able to do. It asked for an obscene amount of coconut oil and planks and all that. And so I donated those. I get to my 3rd round, and it wanted fire pits, which, not a big deal, right? Okay. I had 2 already, so I only needed the 1. So I was like, all I need is this 1 fire pit, and I can get this damn shipment done. And I can call it a night, go to bed, set up the spatulas unless I get something else in, and get maybe 3 hours of sleep. So I stayed up another 2 hours hunting for a fucking fire pit. Now, I did put one down on my garden shop just in case, so that if I couldn't find one, that I would wake up and I would have it ready by morning. But I was sure that I would be able to at least find one. But thankfully I did that, because I did not find one. I went to bed around 2:30 in the morning. I woke up periodically throughout the night, asked the group, checked every depot I could think of, and when it was on global, nope, 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 nope. So, in the morning, I woke up, I collected my 1 fire pit that I made, thankfully, and I was able to get that done. But this particular task has me 80 cash in, okay? Not to mention countless coins. I've already almost 200k down on my coins from the Epic project, and I'm 30 cash into the regionals, plus the rares that I've donated, and we're not even 9 tasks in yet. Yeah, so I'm little like, wow, dude, this is why I don't play comp competitively. So for those of you who are wondering why it's not worth it to play comp competitively as a high-level player, does that sum it up for you? But nevertheless, I'm going to continue on with this punishment and show you guys what happens after. So I do the Tokyo, okay, and I get delivery to London for 3,000. All right, not a big deal. At least this one's 14 cash, not 20. So I bring in the first London, and actually, no, the fire pit happened on the London one. That's right. Okay. My last London shipment was the fire pit. My last Tokyo shipment, it wanted robes from limestone, which I thankfully was able to find on the global market. The first 2 London shipments went okay, but the last one was those fire pits. So now I am, let's see, like, I don't know, 40 cash or so into the London, and about 80 cash into the Tokyo. and then everything that I have listed already. Now, at this point, I can't remember what I got in place of this. I'd have to pull up the screenshot, but I ended up doing the spatulas, which is where we left off, which I'm going to go ahead and open up the game, and we can pick up kind of where I left off here. So that was just my little bit of a head start last night. Right now, I'm about 10 tasks in, I think, and I have a score of like 23,000 or something. So I'm still over my 2K average, but it's already cost me a pretty penny, okay? I was not as prepared for this week as I would have liked to have been in terms of inventory and prep, but because I won first place last week in Metro, I was able to collect 10 gold tokens from that winning, which put me 10 over my limit, so I'm unable to collect all my overflow tokens until I burn through those. But because this week has already started off expensive, I've already burnt through like 6 tokens, having to do the spatulas, the drills, clearing out of the sunny drinks and the robes, and I ended up having to clear out some feed that I prepped, so I decided, because I was low on beef, that I would make some beef, you know, because that's a nightmare to get. I hate making beef, but I will do it if I need it for my inventory, and being how I am doing flights and epics, it's extremely important that you guys keep up on those hard to get items, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and collect these spatulas. We'll do our screenshot here for the contest, or for the album here. I am going to give you guys the link to this album. It will be on our Facebook page, and you'll be able to view it as I upload the pictures. Okay, so let's see. Claim. Now I'm exactly 10 tasks in. This is what I was worried about. What I was trying to do was I was trying to speed up as much as I could in that 30 minutes so that I could submit the design challenge after doing that design upgrade, because I figured they would hit me with it, but it didn't pop up. So now here's the problem. This is holding a 2,500 place value, but we do get more 2,500 place values than we used to, so it shouldn't block anything. If I were to cancel it, I take too much of a hit on my score, and it will likely return. So basically right now, that's gonna sit there until it, if it ends up blocking something, then I will go ahead and take the risk and try to cancel it, but likely it will probably sit there for the rest of the contest. That being said, what we need to do is we need to go down our list and look at the next highest in value, which is an upgrade residential for 1,600, or a Paris for 1,600. Now, an upgrade residential can be worth 2,400 points. A Paris can be worth 2,400 points. So, honestly, the residential would be the better of the two choices because it doesn't cost me cash and I can get it done much faster, right? But before we do that, we need to look at our other options and compare opportunity here. So, those 600 points, we need to look at value difference. What's our next highest in our list? Well, we have coins, but that doesn't bring good opportunity. It just comes right back, so no. We have VU for 1,000, but that just came in for 1,000, so it's not being good to us. We have the repair for 1,200, but there's no opportunity there, so no. We have upgrade hotspot for 1,100. So that is the next highest in the list. Now, this one usually doesn't come back, so it could open up something really good for us. However, it's 500 points lower. So we're comparing the value difference of 500 to basically opportunities. You got a better opportunity with the hotspot, but you get 500 points less. So is it worth it when I'll probably end up having to do this residential anyways? I wouldn't say no. I would rather bank on those 500 points and see what I can get to come in, because we may have to upgrade that hotspot later on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start the residential. We picked residential over Paris because of speed and cash. So we'll scroll through my map here and we'll see if we have any quick upgrades. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. Always buy your VU, you guys. I cannot stress that enough. I really can't. I know they're a little expensive, but trust me, it's not worth it to pass them up. If you're somebody who, for whatever reason, don't buy them and give them to me, and I will pay the 2,000 coins. Because just because you might be good on VU doesn't mean other people are, right? So if you're in my group and you're not buying your VU, buy it, and I'll give you the extra coins for it. Okay, so we're going to go to each one of my maps here and see if I can get something done for relatively cheap. Now, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a cheap upgrade that isn't going to take any resources that I may want. You know, like, for example, let's say one of them is asking for like this, for example. It's asking for 1 robe. That's not too bad, but that's an item that, you know, is kind of hard to come by and takes a long time to make. So I'm not going to waste 1 robe on this. I'm going to go ahead and save that limestone upgrade for if I get a limestone task. So I'm going to go to my next map here, see if there's any easy ones. Try to leave, you know, houses available so that when this happens, you can place these down. When you have one that says upgrade residential zone, it works for any residential. It does not have to be the regular one. If you have a upgrade Latin, for example, and you try to do it in the design challenge, it doesn't work, okay? The only ones that you get credit for in the design challenge are going to be the design challenge upgrades. So right here, always check your offers. If they're not good, click no. That way it gives the game time to give you something better, so that when you get that coins task, you've already went through your options. You don't have to waste any time. You gotta always be thinking ahead of the game so that you can save time. You know, go as fast as you can, save time. It's super important. What you don't want to have happen is you don't want to move slow as molasses, end up in a situation where you, let's say you get a 3600 launch legendary attack in your streaks, and you have a bonus of 8,000 points. You slacked too much, and now you can't do the launch legendary, so you end up losing those bonus points and the legendary points, all because you didn't want to move just a little quicker. This one wants 2 yoga mats, and it's a Latin upgrade. That's a little bit much for what I'm willing to give. Right here, this one's not bad, okay? It's asking for all normal items, all easy to get. All I need is 5 wood. So I'm going to go ahead and go to somebody's depot, which had wood up, grab that, and that'll take care of the one. A lot of why things take people so long have to do with focus and prep. A lot of people get distracted doing other little things. The moment you clear one task, you need to clear another and another. You've got to constantly be working on stuff. You got to be thinking 10 steps ahead of the game and always prepping ahead of time, okay? It's a lifesaver. Just checking on those regional bubbles to make sure that they're at a good offer. Like, for example, my frosty map. If it is saying, you know, 11 sushi plates for, you know, let's say 900 currency, I'll leave it sit. So I know that I have that much waiting for me. I don't have to go over there and have it offer me, 7 coins for a can of fish or something. I know that it's going to offer me the 900. So, okay, we did 1. Now we just got to do 1 more. So let's go to another map here and see if we can get something a little bit easier to pop up. Also, you guys, if you look up the production guide, if you are curious as to how many items you need to make per token or whatever, you can use our guide. I have videos showing how to use it and all that. Now, this particular situation here, we have, or I have a couple Sunny drinks that are ready for pickup. I can either pick them up now and place some more down, but I don't have enough melons to place any more down. That's a lot of production time to just pick up. So I'm actually going to leave them sit there, because if I get a task to make them, just the few that I pick up is an entire gold token's worth of time. So I'm just going to leave them sit. I'd rather leave those sit than manage to make 1 damn drink in 3 freaking hours, right? Okay, so we've got this one is asking for a Sunny drink. That's a no-go. This one's only asking for a face cream, which isn't too bad. All right, this one's not asking for any, so I'm just going to do that one. Now we've got that task done. We can move on to the next. So I don't remember if I screenshotted this. I think I did. Let's just double check. Okay, we're going to hit claim. Oh, yippee. So, right here, we have yoga mats for $14.40. Now, we have Paris for $1,600, which is significantly higher. I mean, not too much, but it's enough. So, Paris is going to be our next choice, but we need to go and see what we got for yoga mats here. I can't remember if I made any. I thought I put down like 5 or 6, so I should be okay. I really hope I did. Come on. Okay. Now, unfortunately, there's no way for me to click on this shop to lay down more yoga mats without collecting those, unless I can fill my city storage up, which is exactly what I'm going to do to make sure that that's being worked on while I work on this other task. So always making sure that you are, like I said, being as efficient and productive as possible. A good thing to fill up on would be these things, so that I can make sure that I have enough of those in my city storage to lay down some more yoga mats before I click it. I don't think I have very many blue techs either, so I'll definitely want to get some of those. Let's see, 6. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get this video uploaded. You guys have a pretty good idea of what I got going on here, and then I will continue recording, and you guys can